What's up, traders? Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I just went to my phone and I just looked up Jaymes Rosenthal. It came into my feed. Anyway, so I went on his channel. This is the most popular video he had. It's around 46,000 views. So he's been trading for around 13 years. And I was listening to one of his top videos on it, and we're gonna do a nice reaction to it. The video is only around 14 minutes long, so it's gonna be nice and quick. I'm just gonna tell you my reaction to it and also give you my feedback on this kind of deal.
People right now are living through getting will take.
So this guy is pretty much what's his name? Jaymes Rosenthal. I went to his channel, 4,000 subscribers. Anyway, it's not about how many subscribers you have. This video generated 46,000 views, so that was pretty much really good. So I want you guys to listen to what he had to say, not only for me, but also a guy that's been doing it for 13 years, because I've been doing it for I've been doing it for 17 years. I've been studying the market for like 2 decades here, so we're gonna listen to what he had to say after 13 years. So he's doing it 13 years, so listen to him because he explains it better than I did.
Trading will take everything from you. And I'll be honest, I'm not even being that dramatic. I mean, literally. If you stay in the trading game long enough, it's going to take your confidence, your peace, your relationships, and your health to the absolute limits. If you let it, it could take your whole identity. And worst of all, it's not even like that happens all at once. It does it slowly, quietly, in ways that you hardly notice. Kind of like a frog in a boiling pot, until you look up one day and realize you've built your entire emotional life around some pixelated numbers moving on a screen. Now, I'm not saying this necessarily to scare you away from the industry. I'm saying it because so many people right now are living through that dark part of the movie. So, this video was made in late 2025, and this year has been one of those environments where a lot of things feel broken. Crypto is essentially dead again, and narratives and new metas, they're gone. Liquidity, well, one day we're so back, and the next day it's so over, right? And lots of people find themselves sitting in bags that they don't even believe in anymore. Heavy bags of mostly just hope, if anything. TradFi.
That's true. This year has been a little bit more challenging. Even though we're in a bull market, the small cap market has been hot and cold. Like we get like one hot week of stocks ripping towards the moon. One week they're dumping. Another week they're kind of choppy, and for the next like 2 weeks they're kind of dead. So that's actually pretty true. Trading will take everything from you. I believe, when I first started, I used to trade every single day, and I actually got really chubby. And when I was trading OTCs, I was trading every single day. I was watching it tick by tick by tick by tick from 9:30 till 4, Monday through Friday. So I was just in it for like the long term. I was like hardcore trading. And when I started small caps, I also did that. And I traded it from 4 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, every day, every day, every day until I figured out a system how to beat it. So we're going to listen to, look at this guy. This guy is exhausted. Look at his eyes right here.
Has been tough as well. Choppy moves, geopolitical noise, confusing economic data, a government shutdown, whipsaws, and no clean follow throughs, breakouts. It's almost like the market is intentionally coming after you, trying to make you feel stupid. So, if that's you, if you feel like you're in that place, you're exhausted, questioning everything about yourself, or nothing is working, hear me clearly. You are not alone, and you're definitely not crazy. This is the dark side of trading. This is where they get you. So I want to talk about it honestly because not that many people actually do. Most people, they're just highlight reels. You're only going to hear from them when the trading is going right. They're going to be
That's right. That's right. Trading is that, you always hear from traders when they're winning. Like this is like a typical trading kind of deal. Like you're always going to hear from traders that are winning. You're never going to hear about their losses, and how they made $2 million and they lost $4 million. That's something very common for traders, or how they make 10 grand profit and how they owe their broker 10 grand. You're never going to hear because they never post it.
flexing all over the timeline, even when everything for you has gone wrong. There's somebody out there dunking on everybody else and showing it to you, flaunting it. But realize most public traders are only showing you a trading lifestyle. It's a complete joke. Laptops, cocktails, partying, cars, a no drawdown type of existence.
Yeah, drawdowns are pretty real. Like a lot of people in a cold market, they don't understand like drawdowns are something normal. Like what the way I've adapted in a cold market in small cap stocks, I've been sizing down, and I am only limited to like one or two trades per ticker. And if I make more than three trades, that are red on small size, I just cut my trading off. It's really hard to just not push it in days which is cold in the small cap market. So this is very actually true. A lot of people make a lot of money, especially in small caps when they're really hot, and then they blow it all off.
That's not trading, bros. That's just a marketing ploy. That's getting them to make you buy in, to buy one of their courses or some indicator, or join some prop
Honestly, my course is actually 15 hours long, so my course is actually backed by examples. I have about 500 examples in my course. So my course is actually based on actual data for the past 4 years. So, the difference between my course and like every other else's course is like, I bought everybody else's courses. I never seen more than 10 examples or 10 strategies in their courses. Like their courses are not that good. I mean, I have everybody's courses, everybody that made millions, and they're not that good. They don't have examples. They don't have data. They don't have raw data. That's the thing. I have 500 examples, and in my course is 15 hours. I specify 10 different strategies that work that you can use every day in small cap stocks. So depending on like what kind of course are you buying? I honestly bought everybody's course, and everybody's course sucked. Honestly, I never really understood from A to Z how to do it. Like how to wake up, how to strategize, what to look for. Nobody ever taught me. I had to physically do it A, B, C. This is why it took me so long.
firm, all while they personally search for their own validation in life. Real trading, however, is one of the most psychologically punishing pursuits you can choose. It's one of the few jobs where you can work hard, prepare well, do all the right things, and still
Lose money. That's correct. I have to. That's the most frustrating thing I think about trading is like you do everything right, the perfect setup, the perfect entry, the perfect time, and it doesn't work. That's something very hard to swallow because no matter if you go to the gym and you lift this weight, you're gonna get stronger with time, and you do everything that's possible. But in trading, it's not like that. It's not like that.
lose money. And funny enough, you could do everything wrong and actually get rewarded.
Yeah, this thing just pisses me off. Like sometimes when I'm really tired and I press the wrong button and I buy the wrong ticker, I sometimes make money. That's really ironic. How I'm able to make money by pressing the wrong button. I thought that was hilarious. You hit the wrong button and you're like, "Yo, let me go long Tesla. Oh, let me just buy some silver." And then you look at it 2 months later, you're like, "Holy shit, my account is like up, 50%. Holy shit."
What the hell? That could be even more dangerous, to be honest.
Yeah, that's dangerous because if you get in the habit of just buying whatever that's random, that's actually even more dangerous. You're like, oh my God, I'm on a hot streak. I'm gonna buy everything random and I'm gonna win.
Trading is the hardest game on earth. Not only are some of the opponents the brightest, most efficient, crafty, and resource backed executors in the world, but there's even a bigger villain, and that's yourself. Because the markets, they're honestly just a mirror to you. Not only is it going to show you like some magical reflection, but most savagely, it doesn't even care how you feel about that reflection.
Yeah, it doesn't really care. Like the market really moves. The market doesn't care whether it be what you think of it. The market cares. The market moves up. The market moves down. It doesn't care. Like I looked at some Tesla calls or whatever, and I was talking to my family member. I'm like, dude, this Tesla call is not gonna be here for the next 4 years. And my family member is like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna buy 1,000 or two. I'm like, seriously? Seriously, you have worldwide opportunities, and you just can't fathom that it doesn't show up that often.
So let's go there. What exactly will trading potentially take from you? And don't worry, at the end of this, I will show you the light at the end of the tunnel. There is one. But we can't reach that light by pretending that the dark side isn't there. Instead, you earn it right by walking straight through it. One of my favorite books is by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way, a book on Stoicism. I think that applies here perfectly. First thing trading can take from you is that sense of certainty.
Yeah, yeah, you're never sure. Like, even when I made my even when I made my, ad talking about how I made 4 million, like even when I was looking at it, I was like, why aren't you looking at the camera? You made like so much money, and why aren't you not serious about it? Why aren't you like confident about it? I'm like, I'm not confident about anything. Trading in the zone is very, very hard for me to explain. You just show up every single day, and then everything clicks in one day, and then you bet a lot of money on that ticker, and you make a lot of it, and then you have to humble down because just because you made like 10,000, 20,000, 5,000, $50, that doesn't mean shit. You can lose it tomorrow. It's just no joke. It's just even if you make 50, even if you make 5 million, you can still lose it tomorrow. You can't be confident about anything. So right here, when he talks about confidence, this is actually pretty accurate.
At the start, you think the whole world is logical. If you study hard and long enough, you'll understand the rules, create some great strategy, use a back tested indicator, a system. The
That's right. I do have a system, but it doesn't work. Today, I just finished doing the gap up short, shorting the daily resistance of a stock, which I'm going to go, it's in my course. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, short the daily resistance at 17. All right, have a stop at 17.5. And it actually, some of the stocks went up to 17.53. And then you get stopped out, and then it tanks all the way to $10. Like, there's nothing really for sure in the stock market. The only thing for sure is you're never sure. That's actually really good. Like even if you have, 30 slides or 30 examples of each strategy, I have 10 strategies in my course. And every single strategy has 30 to 50 examples. So even though I have all that data, that doesn't mean I can't lose. That's the I can be here for 40 years, and I can just, lose on one ticker. It's just the same odds as you becoming a professional boxer as like Mike Tyson, and then you walk to the grocery store to Publix, and then this guy comes out of nowhere and punches you in the face. That's very possible to happen.
thing. And then boom, the market will introduce you to randomness. Your setup that's clean and battle tested on that sim textbook that others have used and dominated with. Well, boom, it fails pretty quickly. Well, all right, that's fine. I know it doesn't always work out. I've heard you lose in trading. Let's just run it again and again. Lose, lose, lose.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, for the past week, I was looking at calls to buy on the SPY, and I was like, okay, so the SPY just broke all-time highs by 50 cents, and I thought we are gonna go higher. I'm like, I gotta get some calls. So I got like one call, and what happened after we broke 52-week high, which 9 out of 10 times when you buy a ticker, and you say you buy a 52-week breakout penny stock or whatever, when you have the 52-week breakout, it works so well. So I was like, okay, let me look at the market. It made a new 52-week high by 25 cents. And I go long and I think tomorrow is going to gap up. What happened the next day? It tanked. My calls went down like 50%. There's nothing for sure, man. Nothing for sure in this market. Even the 52-week breakout, the best setup that I have in my playbook are 52-week breakouts, and they still can fail.
WTF, man.
He's like, what the fuck?
Suddenly you're thrown into a blender, into one of the worst places a trader can find himself. You don't trust, one, your plan, but more importantly, yourself. Welcome to the spiral. Once that certainty is done and dusted, you begin to search for that safety again, and it's gone.
Actually, this is really true. It kind of happens to me. Like it's called being on tilt. Say I studied, first Green Day bounce and it fails and it fails, a couple times, and I sometimes it doesn't work, or sometimes I buy the daily breakout and then it tanks right after it. or I buy the VWAP reclaim and it tanks. There's periods of time in which 30% of the setups just don't work. And what you got to do, you have to grind through those setups and continuously add into your positions with smaller size, but continue to trade. And what happens if you play those setups that are in my textbook playbook and they don't work, I sometimes get into this mindset that my shit doesn't work. And then I start doing new things and new things that I don't have the data for. Like you need at least 30 examples of that setup in the past that happened to put real money on the table. And I get into a pattern like, what if this pattern that I have here, day two continuation, sucks? What if this pattern, day three continuation, sucks? What if I short day three on the next mover? What if I buy? Well, say there's a day three short, right? And surprisingly, this is the only ticker that goes beyond day three to day four. What if I decide to go long on day three? You start questioning everything that you pretty much believed about the stock market just because one ticker ran you over. This is actually really true.
And of course, most of us will look into the wrong places. We'll look for more info, more indicators, more noise. Little do you know, the more input and adjustments and testing layers, the less clarity you might actually find.
That's right. More does not equal more profits. The more you work at it doesn't mean that you'll make more money. Just means more randomness and more data. Just because a setup that you were doing good at doesn't work right now in this market does not give you the right to go bet on a setup that you haven't researched let me just back test it. Let me just back test this setup I never studied just because my setup didn't work 1 out of 10 times. And I know that sounds stupid for me to tell you that, but how many times have you done it?
You're going to open up X and Discord and YouTube and Audible. You start leaning into those group chats where it's all people you think don't ever lose.
Yeah, yeah. So say you subscribe to my website or another guru's website or another guru's website, right? And say that guy loses like right now. You would probably go to another guru and another guru and another guru that's winning. And you don't understand like that guy, there's a guy that made, I don't know, 60 million or whatever. He makes a trade a month. That doesn't mean he was going to show you less. So more knowledge does not equal a better results. That's what I'm trying to say. If a guy doesn't, if you shouldn't be, just drive throughing through every single subscription out there. You need to find like somewhere to go, someone that has a plan to do that works more than half the time, and if it does and it's working and you're profitable 60% of the time, that's the best you can do. There's no program out there that I have everybody's courses. I have millionaires courses throughout my 20-year period. I can name all the millionaires on the internet and I have their course. I'm not going to name it. I paid $1,000 $2,000 for each of their courses, and none of them is like mine. No, there's none of them is 15 hours. None of them shows me 500 examples. I'm telling you right now, go purchase it. If it is, I'm going to give you a free copy of mine.
You're going to start collecting other people's conviction because you actually just lost your own. Hey, if you've ever taken trades because your buddy said, it's a lock, bro, you know exactly what happens next. You haven't lost just money, but complete trust in your own judgment and your own abilities.
Yeah, this is where yeah, like I had a subscriber that came in my chat room and he was, asking me how is he messing up these trades, and I'm like, "Yo, you're making C plus setup with A plus size. You don't know the difference between an A setup and a C setup." Like, he was buying at 10:15 a stock that, went straight up. He was buying the dip when it didn't hold half his gains. I'm like, no, that's a C setup. It might or might not work. It's not part of my playbook. You need a playbook. He was sizing in, like he was betting like a lot of money in it. And I'm like, no, that's not a setup. He was not listening to what I had to say. And he was over trading continuously. The downer spiral was like this, and he was increasing size, and eventually you blow up. I told the guy, yo, you have to slow down your trading, size down, and limit your risk to, I don't know, 50 bucks a day, 100 bucks a day. He came in the next day and I asked him, "Yo, how much did you lose today? Did you lose more than 50 to $100?" And he's like, "Blah blah 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 blah." And I asked him, "Yo, did you lose more than 10 50 to $100?" He's like, "Yes." "Okay, you're done. Come back tomorrow." And then he came back tomorrow, and I'm like, "Hey, are you all right?" He's like, "Blah blah 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 blah." "Did you lose more than 50 to 100 bucks today?" He's like, "Yes." "Okay, bye. See you tomorrow." That's what I kept telling him. And what happens is he came back. He came back the third day, and he's like, "Yo, did you make more than $100 today?" And he's like, "Yeah, I made more than $100." "Great. Enjoy your day. You're done at 10:30. You're going to come back tomorrow and do it again." And he's like, "All right." And then he came again the next day and he made another $100. He made $200. And then the next day he came, he made $500. And then a week later, he made, I don't know, $750 on one trade. And then he quit. That he quit. I didn't quite understand why he quit, because my guidance was telling him how to be profitable, and then he quit. So I was like, "Why did you quit? You just became profitable. You just had he thought he didn't need me anymore, so he left." I'm like, "Okay, you're paying 20% more if you're coming back."
You're trying to outsource that and the responsibility that comes along with it. That's embarrassing. Angry? Feel like a bitch? And the worst part, you can't even learn the lesson from that because you didn't own the decision in the first place.
Yeah, so if you come if you're like if you're, pretty much having loss after loss after loss after loss, and then you say you join a guru, like not me or somebody else, and you try to follow him to make back your money. That's not a strategy. You should be coming in, sizing down, and have a risk of 50 to $100 per trade, and maybe take the trade or maybe not take the trade, because he's not going to be accurate every day. What if he loses that day? You're going to have a downward spiral. You're not going to believe him, you're not going to believe yourself, and you're just going to be in a very hard situation.
So from there, you just become more jaded, more cynical, more reactive.
Yeah, this is the reality of things. Like, people that tell me, let me tell you something about I just told my family member this story. Like, there's a brokerage house in Barbados. I think it was Short Trader. Short Trader. Yeah, that's right. Short Trader was a scam, right? Because whatever trades they did, they pretty much, what they did was is, they never, they when you were buying a stock, it never showed on the tape when you were buying a stock. So what they did was, every time you bought a stock, they bet against you. I mean, they had such a great conviction of you failing, because 95% of traders failed within 30 days of wiring their account. So they had such a high conviction that you're going to fail in the next 30 days, that they not only did not give you the trade to buy a stock at this price, they also bet against you so they can profit from your loss. Can you believe how ridiculous? Like, the brokerage companies, they look at their numbers, how many people signed up. Like, all right, so 950 people out of 1,000 lost in the first 9 days. All right, so from 950 people, we're just gonna bet against them. Whatever they do, we're just gonna take the other side of the trade. That was just hilarious. That's what an actual company that did that. So your chances of succeeding, it's really bad. So we gotta go discuss this more, because we got like 15 more minutes.
More emotional than you need. So once you've lost that certainty, the market is testing to see what you're going to replace it with. The next thing it's going to take is emotional stability. After all, trading is essentially emotional warfare disguised as some Patagonia vest ridden promised land.
That's true. That's true. Emotional stability. You need to have very good emotional stability. Like, I need to take, like, like phone detox. I use, what is it called? One of my favorite things that I do use is actually Freedom app. I use the Freedom app to turn off my phone, and I also pretty much go out, in nature, as well as, do exercises, and I try to get myself detached from the market at all times. I try to spend minimum 3 hours every day in trading, but after that, I have to shut it off. Like, this thing turns off after 10:30 in a cold market or 11 o'clock. I just turn it off. I play video games. and those aren't video games are not even that good because I receive more blue light. So you have to have like a plan what to do with that energy because if you're watching the market every single day, you're and it's a cold, you're going to see a C plus setup as an A plus setup, and it's gonna mess you up. So you have to have a detox kind of ways. I think the best traders, their best picture was going into mountains, like the way you really quiet down. You have to go like in the mountains or like at sea. You have to go for a walk. There's all these options. Like whatever you do, don't watch TV. It's just gonna make you agitated. Whatever you do, don't watch Instagram. Whatever you do, don't watch YouTube. Like you have to get yourself centered with everything.
It teaches you that your brain is not your friend. Your brain wants comfort, certainty, control, to be right, immediate relief. Market, however, it's the opposite. It rewards things like patience, tolerance of discomfort, delayed gratification, the ability to be wrong without collapsing inward on yourself.
That's right. How many times have you traded this setup and you lost multiple times on it, and then you went on tilt and blew up your account? Like how many times have you do that? You have to maintain composure, have rules like two trades per ticker, max loss per ticker, max loss per day. If it's a cold market, come in between 7 and 10:30 and shut it off. If it's a hot market, stay after 10:30 longer. But how many times have you traded a ticker all day long? It happened many times. Like in the beginning stages, I remember like in a hot market. Crap, I need to turn off the light because it just in a hot market. I used to make like 30,000. I made like 30,000 in like a week, and then in one day, one ticker, I just didn't look at it. I just didn't look at it correctly, and I lost 30K in one day. I gave it all back. That's actually really good. Let me turn on the light and continue talking here, because it just ran out of batteries.
So if you aren't trained, the market will train you like a little lab rat. You feel loss, go fix it now. You feel the win, press it, chase. You bored? Do something. Take control of those impulses. They're likely very familiar to us, right? Destroy more accounts than bad strategies ever will, though. Now, the real killer, what happens after the trading hours? Sure, the market will close, but your mind won't. You'll sit on your couch, maybe next to your girlfriend or your wife or your kids, but you won't be there. You're staring at some chart in your head, replaying an entry or some missed exit, that moment you hesitated or that greed that overtook your head.
Yeah, this is very true. No matter what you do, you're still never gonna be perfect. It's one of those careers like whatever you do, you always need to improve. You're always gonna look for ways to improve because that's what keeps you sharp. If you continuously look for ways to improve every day, you will stay sharp and profitable. If you come in and you just try to wing it, you're just not going to be competitive and you're going to have a red day. You need to continuously strive to be perfect. It's a very hard pill to understand because it's not like math. You do one plus one. That one plus one can change tomorrow and can be a two or a three and a four, and you might be like, "Yo, I'm not taking the trade."
How much should you have made? What did you deserve? Those words will kill you, by the way. Should, deserve. That's all coulda, shoulda, woulda nonsense, man. A truism that never actually occurred. Traders, new and old, they spend years emotionally living in some fantasy timeline, all while their real life is slipping through their fingers. So then sets in irritability, being snarky.
That's true. That's true. You can pretty much waste the whole entire life. I had a family member that had some silver, and I'm like, yo, sell some. You bought it at $20. We're at $60. Yo, go sell it. And she's like, and then he's like, um, my family member was like, "No, no, I think it's going to 500." Like, why? Why would you believe that it's going to 500? It's not going to 500. And the family member, him or she or they, they're like, "Yo, I'm going to bury it and you're going to have it for your kids." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. No, that's not a strategy to have. You need to, you made a profit, you bought this ticker, at $1. You sold it at $1.40. You made 40% in a day. You need to close it out and leave. There's no like, what if I made 60? What if I made 70%? What if I made 100%? What if I made 500%? What if I, retired on this one ticker? That's where greed comes in. You have to be extremely disciplined about it. You made the profit, you made the trade. You say you made 5 grand in one ticker. You can only risk half your profits, which is 2,500 for the rest of the day, and then trade the same ticker again. And if you lose 2,500, you have to pretty much cut off the day. So it doesn't matter how high it goes. It matters how much you took home. So so stop worrying about where you sold it. If it's a profit, it's a profit. Let it go.
Distant. Your mood will flow up and down with your P&L. Green day, all right, maybe you're a good person. Red day, nah, you're pretty much worthless on all accounts, right?
That's true. That's true. I do in my history, I do feel shittier in a red day. I'm still trying to level that out to not be affected. I try not to get too high on my winning days and or too lows on my losing day. That's something very important to stay stable. But I do feel like shit when I'm red. I don't feel as high when I'm winning. I didn't, when I made the 4 mil or whatever that day, and I walked outside. I felt like oh my god, look at all these people working for, minimum wage jobs of 5,000, 2,000, $3,000 a month or less. Look at all these people working, from 9 to like 5, and I was looking at, I was like, it felt like, what the fuck are you all doing? Because I made a lot of money in one day. Most of you have like in a lifetime. So I was like, holy shit. I feel like somewhat euphoric in that moment. I felt like an alien around those people. That's for sure.
That's not trading, man. That's known as emotional dependency. That's
Yeah, you need to stay leveled. Stay level, like regardless of what's happening. Like when I was losing, I was miserable and I was like, whatever, I'll just continue on doing it. When I was winning, I just enjoyed the high for a couple of weeks, and then it's just the same feeling. You just won, you feel happy for a day or a week, and then it's gone.
more of the dark side. And the other thing trading will steal is your body. And nobody
That's true. That's true. The body is definitely something I'm working on. Cause initially I used to work out like maybe twice a day or once a day, and you're sitting here on a chair for 5 hours each and every day, and that's ridiculous. Like being able to sit here for 5 hours every day, it's ridiculous. I also have this desk that you can pretty much lift it up, and you can I can stand here, but it's tough. Sitting here for 8 hours is very tough on the body. The most I can do is basically three, maybe four. That's it.
talks about this enough. It's a
Yeah, not only that, but say you took a red day. Say you took a red day. Say you took a red day, you haven't slept, you blow up your account, you're gonna eat like shit. You're not making rational decisions. You're gonna be depressed. You're gonna eat more shit. You're gonna get fat. No, it's the downward spiral is terrible when you're losing. He's completely right.
stress sport after all. This isn't just you sitting at a desk, it's high stakes decision making under
Yeah, it's high stakes decision making. If you haven't slept well, and if you're not ready to go and you have not studied, you're not gonna be ready to make high stakes decisions. These are high stakes. It's like you have to be very sharp when you make your decisions. You have to be rested and you have to be studied. For those people that will not study and don't want to study, when things are moving, you're just not gonna be able to react. You're not gonna be fast enough. You need to continuously practice in your brain. You need to continuously practice the patterns. Even if I'm practicing with C size and I'm making $50 a day or $100 a day, I'm still practicing. It's like Michael Jordan is still shooting hoops. You just even though you're not shooting hoops in the during the playoffs, you're still shooting hoops in practice. Like even though I'm showing up in a cold market and I'm, trading with C size, making 50 to $100, I'm still, doing the throw. I'm still practicing. That's something I'm always doing. So that's you still need to practice in a hot or a cold market.
uncertain conditions over and over and over again. And that stress, it does not come without a cost.
Yeah, you hear I like last year, like this year, I actually had burnout fever for like a whole month, and I just had to I just had to like continuously eat vegetables all day. Like for the time I was running this business, I had to do burnout. I had burnout fever for about a month, and all I was eating was vegetables, green, tomatoes, green peppers, cucumbers, lean chicken. All I was doing, waking up, trading, playing video games, and sleeping. That's for a whole month. I think I only had burnout fever, and it was weird. I had like heart palpitations from trading continuously for every single day for like 3 years, 4 years of this stuff. I had heart palpitations. I had burnout fever, and I was working out. I was like everything is normal, and I almost got into the hospital to tell you the truth. Thank God I rushed home, and your health is like this career was gonna put a huge mental toll and physical toll on your body.
You ever feel like your chest is tight,
Yeah,
like your sleep is completely broken?
yeah, like if I haven't slept like 10 hours, I look at my whoop score, and even if I look at my whoop score, and if my whoop score is green, I'm like, okay, that's great. But right now I'm looking at, I was talking about on Friday, I was like, yo, do you have any, sleep, that you need to recover from? Like sleep depth. Like there's sleep depth in my whoop score that I have not slept, and I was looking every single day for if I go into my if I go discuss I had some serious sleep debt to recover from, and I was like, why the hell do I feel tired? Because every single day I had a green score, and I have not calculated my sleep depth. That's it puts a really crazy emotional toll on your body. So let me show you like what I was talking about, my sleep debt right here, because I was just discussing with subscribers in the chat room here. So right here, you can see so here that not only I was sleeping around 7 hours right here, 7 hours right here, pretty nicely, and you can see that the average that I needed was pretty much 8 hours or something. So every single day I was missing about an hour of sleep in sleep depth. And right about here, I for a week here, I pretty much just crashed because I was exercising or whatever. And right here, thank God, I have my rules that I follow every single day. I took small losses until like Friday, where everything kind of clicked and we started getting some movers here. But you can see that my sleep has pretty much caught up to me, and it's very weird because you're just what happens when you have sleep debt, like you're not gonna hold your stop losses, you're gonna trade C setups, you're gonna oversize, and you're gonna mess up. You're not gonna trade between your optimal times, and you're gonna have poor results that day. Like if you don't think sleep is important, you have another thing coming, and I started fixing it, and everything came back to normal. See, I was having an average about 1.5 hours sleep depth from November up until over here. Right now, I don't have any sleep depth, so I'm still doing better. Let's see what else. So if you think sleep is not important, it's gonna catch up to you, man. That's probably the number one thing that most people under 40 are dealing with. Like half of the millennials are dealing with sleep depth.
Weird digestion.
Yeah, weird digestion. Like it affects my digestion. Like weird digestion. That's true. Like I was looking at my protein bars. There's some protein bars that are really messing me up. And when I'm rested, the protein bars that I eat are perfectly fine. When I'm not rested, the protein bars are terrible. I just get gas and I get bloated. So it's no joke here.
Clenched jaw. your shoulders constantly up and in a locked position, haven't breathed all day, well, that's you in your cortisol stuck in a constant sympathetic state.
Yeah,
You're
that's
stuck
right.
in fight or flight day to day, week to week, year to year. Can be even worse in crypto, to be honest. High octane volatility running 24/7. No off days, bro. Always another candle, another opportunity, another narrative. You end up living in this constant state of vigilance. And over time, this transitions into chronic fatigue. By the way, insert those uppers and addiction problems, but that's for another story.
Yeah, and listen to this. I had chronic fatigue in the middle of this year. I had burnout fever in somewhere in June or May, and I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I eat healthy. I mean, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything. I try to sleep as much. I don't I don't buy any types of weird services. I do nothing. Everything is clean. So I'm doing it the clean way, like nothing. And I'm still getting burned out. Yeah, I don't know how you do it, but you're it's gonna catch up to you.
So, yeah, you think you're grinding, that you're locked in, but you're actually consistently eroding your body and mind. This is all going to be taking years off the end of your life when it becomes your identity and your nervous system's permanent setting.
Yeah, that's actually true. You need to put a limit of how much time you spend in front of the monitor, and you need to have rest days and you need to have vacations, because one of these tickers is just gonna run you over one day. I had plenty of tickers that ran me over. It's the worst feeling in the world. You kind of feel, off the ball. Like I just finished doing what is it called? The gap up shorts. There's a ticker, I was looking at the gap up shorts. I finished the course for about, the gap up short section is 2 hours. So I was looking at the ticker is like, yo, maybe I should short everything that gaps up between 3 and 500%. And then, I'm trying to teach all these people. I'm like, no, just because 9 out of 10 of them are gapping up 300 to 500%, if you don't have a place where you to base your risk off, it can go up 4,100% in one day. You can lose your entire life's fortune if you just if you plan your trades like, oh, let me just short a ticker that's gapping up 1,200% because I've never seen a ticker going up more than 1,200%. But it can go higher. So people lose entire fortunes, um, just being unprepared, just betting oversized on the wrong ticker. Look at his face. He looks pretty annoyed about that one ticker that doesn't that pretty much messes him up.
And what about your relationships?
Oh yeah, don't get me started on relationships. I have no relationships.
Trading, it's lonely. It's not like that quiet lonely, but a deep one. The one where you can be surrounded by all sorts of people and still somehow feel alone. Like no one can really understand you or what you're going through. You might explain your day to your spouse or friend, and it sounds like, I had a tough day. But in reality, you mean, I'm questioning everything about my entire future, and I don't know what I'm going to do. So you eventually stop trying to explain your thoughts or your feelings, and you maybe withdraw. And yes, the more you withdraw, the more it consumes your entire internal world. That's the trap. And if it fits inside your whole world, then losses don't just hurt your account anymore, they're hurting your whole identity, your self worth, and your future. So you resort to protecting your ego, not your capital. Blaming, deflecting, not accepting the truths, all of those deep, dark truths, the greed, the envy, the ego, impatience, addiction, self.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. You need to point these out in your trading. If you're, a lot of people deal with, trading can be like a drug. Like I was going to the casino. I went to check out the buffet as one of the casinos. And because I don't gamble, and I was looking at all these people smoking all these cigarettes at the casino. Like every single guy was just coughing and just betting and coughing and betting, and they're all in hoodies and all that. And I'm like, I was looking at, I mean, that's an addiction, and the casinos are filled with these people that pretty much throw out their entire life's fortune there. I was just there to get the buffet because I'm like, okay, if I pay 60 bucks on a buffet full of lobster, I'm good. I'll spend it. I don't care. But trading is an addiction. You need to, have a set criteria of how much you want to trade. Like if you're in a hot market, you can make 15, 20 trades and you can be, green on like 7 out of 10 and you can have a great, amazing green day. But if you're in a cold market and the market is not working, if you try to just grind profits out, it's just no matter how much you try, it's just things are not moving. So you can't let your addiction be like, hey, last time it worked when I sat here and I tried to get profit out. You cannot just get ground. You cannot get blood out of a stone. You just gotta have to walk. That's just you have to put your addiction away, or say you lost this amount of money that you have set for the day, and you go beyond it. You have to respect the rules because the rules will keep you. The rules are like armor when you're in the battlefield, and I have a 6.5 hours course of the rules. Just that most of you ignore it. The 6.5 hour Nasdaq course are pretty much your armor um for trading.
Sabotage, the need to feel right or special, or fantasies of that one big trade that's going to solve everything.
Yeah, the fantasy of the big trade that's gonna solve everything. This is actually really true. Like how many people, you know, are still buying Bitcoin at like 60 to 100,000, thinking it's gonna go to $1 million. They're fantasy. How many people are, I don't know, still buying Shiba stock or Dogecoin that think that this is gonna get them rich? How many people are actually buying Meta at 700 after it went from $80? Don't you think that it's about time that thing should dip by now? Like, don't you think that's overbought from $80 to $750? I mean, it went up like 15 times your money. That's. Do you still think it's a great buy at 750? Or Netflix, even Netflix. Netflix was like at, I don't know, was it like at $8 and then it got up to $120. I mean, it can't possibly still be a good buy, can it? So you have to really, stop drinking all that Kool-Aid. You have to call it what it is. You have to lock in partial profits along the way, and then you have to be out.
Look, this is where my story comes in, by the way. I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've had years that look incredible from the outside. But then I've had multiple years where I genuinely thought, I might be done, man. Where my
Yeah, that's right. So throughout the way I looked at it, the way I studied the stock market is that throughout an 8 year period, 8 year period, you're gonna have two good years, two hard years, two amazing years, and two what is it? Good year, great year, amazing year, and hard year. So the hardest 2 years, I think there were during it's behind. The hard years are behind. The good year has been the past 2 years. Now we're gonna go into great years and then amazing years. I don't know how great and amazing are gonna get, but right now, because of the pattern day trading rule, is gonna go down to, at $2,000. When traders, you know, my small cap stocks are pretty much based on retail traders. If the retail traders get pretty much get their PDT down to 2,000, they be able to wire 2,000 to their E-Trade, Fidelity, whatever main brokerage you want, and these things are going to present much more volatility. So with much more volatility, we're going to have more range. With more range, I'm able to trade more and have more opportunity. So, since the PDT is going down to 2,000, you're going to have all that volume coming into these small cap stocks because what are they going to do with 2,000? They're not going to buy Netflix. They're not going to buy Google. They're not going to buy Meta. All that liquidity is going to go one of these, hot potato games. So I know how to do the hot potato game. That's why I created a 15-hour course to get you to understand the hot potato game. We're playing a hot potato game. That's small cap stocks. It doesn't. It's a hot potato that then goes hot and then it goes cold. That's what it is. So we're gonna continue the stream.
confidence was completely shattered and in the gutter.
Yeah, yeah, I had periods in which nothing was working. That's right. And I what I did during those times, I still came in, I recorded the data every day. I try to trade either with small size or no size, but I recorded every single trade that I did every day, and I reviewed it over the weekend for I don't know 2 years, 3 years or whatever continuously. Like it didn't stop. No matter what happened, I still showed up. I still paid for my Trade Idea subscription, which is still $850 per year. And I record. It doesn't matter what's going on. I need to keep going. It's just like at the gym. I need to come in and do my bicep curls and bench press, and doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you feel. You have to keep going straight.
Years where most of my trades were overreactive and forced. I had to rebuild from scratch, not only financially, but mentally.
Like a trader asked me, like, say he lost in the past week. A bunch of traders did lose in the past week because it was a difficult market. A trader asked me, like, how have you recovered from losing during the cold market and forcing trades? And the way what I told him was, you need when you're winning and you have big profits and everything is easy and you're making $5,000 days, $2,000 days, $1,000 days, 7,000, maybe 10,000, maybe 100,000 for some of you. When you're having those days, make sure you take 80% of the profit out and put it in somewhere you don't know about it. You need to always take money out so it feels like a loss. If you continuously make money every single day and make money every single day, you'll have this every day you're up, you're up, you're up, you're up. You'll have this cushion mentality that, hey, the most amount of money I can lose is all my month, which is pretty stupid. The most you should be able to lose should be 1 or 2 days of work, because one day some ticker is just not gonna do what you wanted to do, and it's your mission to whether you're gonna let that loser give 2 days of work or 1 month, 2 months, or 3 months of work. That's just that's just the nature of the game. You have to continuously wire money out when you're winning. That's exactly how I'll be able to sustain the ups and downs.
So the highlights are easy, and anybody can feel like a genius in a bull market, right?
Yeah,
But that's the real test is when you're in the desert.
yeah. The real test is in the desert. I have a lot of people looked at me and be like, "Why are you showing up making 10% per trade in a cold market?" Which I did, and that's how much I made. 10% in a cold market, which is a big deal. And everybody laughed at me, be like, "Oh, you're just making 10% on $3,000. Maybe you're up 50K a year." And a lot of people looked at me and be like, "No, trading is not something I want to do. I'd rather become an Uber driver. I'd rather whatever the hell you want it to be." But $200, $300 a day is pretty awesome in the beginning stages. You have to build a foundation. Like I was watching the S&B Capital, what are the 1% doing? And for the people that just started making $100 or 2 grand a month from trading, having a small account, it's a big deal, especially if you're just starting. If you're even green the first year, that's a big deal. Not nevertheless making 10%. 10% is so I was showing up regardless of how I felt. I just showed up and pressed buttons trying to see what the hell works.
Choppy market, the narratives you don't understand, the markets that don't follow through and make you second guess every single position you hold. That's where a true trader will be revealed.
Yeah, yeah, think about it. Say I have 5 positions. Say I have 5 positions right now. Say I have 3, 4 positions right now, and I take a loss on one of those positions, just doesn't do whatever I want it to do. And I still have 3 different plans on 3 different other stocks, and I have them all long, and they're all happening at the same time. If I take one big loss on one big ticker, I get out all the 3 positions, and then what happens is that the other 3 positions start working, and I'm like, shit. Like you start questioning everything when you take a big loss, and that's just the reality of the game. This guy is speaking facts here.
And this is the reason most people fail. It's not because they're dumb or clueless, it's because they can't stay emotionally solvent. They don't have the time to develop those needed skills. They'll quit, they'll blow up, they'll go numb and drift towards other things. Why? Because the pain is real.
Yeah, the grind is real. When you're first starting out, it's probably the hardest thing you can do. Like think about it. You go to the gym your first week. How are how do you feel when you go to the gym in January cuz you get your first membership and cuz you haven't worked out all year and you go there for a week or two, and you show up every day. How do you feel, in February? You go every day, all January, and you haven't worked out in years. How do you feel? You're not gonna stand a chance. 90% of you guys will quit your gym membership. That's just one example because I use the gym analogy because I'm pretty serious about it, and right now I'm overheated from overworking out. So that's actually very true. In the beginning, it's hard as hell. Nobody helps you, and nobody gives a shit about you.
Okay, but here's the turning point, the light at the end of the tunnel. If you can survive in those murky waters, in that
If you survive the murky waters, this is where it gets the this is where it gets the this is where you're gonna have your enlightenment moment. Throughout all that trial and error that most of you are going through right now, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. After going through all that darkness.
darkness and find your way to the other side, trading can give you something that nothing else does. It will give you a complete personal evolution. It forces you to become a person who can handle reality. No excuses, no narratives, no blame game, just results. Once you can finally accept that, you can stop fighting the markets and your own demons. Sure, the goal is to be right in a way, but it's more to be an executor. Less about winning every trade and more to just stay in the game. Not about dope.
Yeah, it's about a lot of you guys think about, sometimes, I start trading and it's about getting that dopamine hit that I won today. And I try to stop myself because I do get a dopamine hit when I'm winning, and then I have to stop myself out and be like, yo, this can't keep going on with the dopamine hit because sometimes if you take a loss, it's gonna be a negative hit. So even though you have to be very realistic about these things. So even though you were winning, say you're making 500, 500, 500, 500 every day you were making 500, and then you took a loss one day, 2 grand. I mean, you need to be realistic and be like, yo, I lost my week's profit. Not be like, oh, it's no big deal. No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. You lost all your week's profits. It's not, it's a big deal. And sometimes your emotions are like, oh, it's just one red day. No, it's not. No, 2000 is not 500. No, it's not the same thing. No, it's not. You didn't lose a whole day's work. 2000, 4000 in a day is not one day's work. It's not acceptable. And your brain is like, "Well, I've been winning all this time for, 2 weeks, 3 weeks." Yeah, but you just gave it half back in a day. You have to, think logically and not be like, oh, and not be like euphoric. You have to think about the numbers that you lost. You lost your whole week's worth, your whole month's work, and that's what happens to the majority of traders.
Mean and excitement, but just a consistency over time.
Yeah, you can't be addicted to these things. You have to be very structured, very analytical with these things. You can't be emotional at all. As soon as you become emotional, say too euphoric or too fearful, you're just gonna take a loss.
And at some point, if you stick around long enough, you will develop a different relationship with loss. It's not as personal, it's not some moral issue. It becomes more informative, feedback, data for
Yeah, this is where it
you
gets.
to learn from.
Yeah, yeah. When you take losses, it becomes a feedback to your system. Say for example, I was looking at one of the tickers that I lost money in the past. It was first Green Day bounce. It was one of my best setups, and then I was looking at all the data, and I was like, why did I lose on this first Green Day bounce, but I won on the other 30 first Green Day bounces? And then I was looking at all the details. How is this one different than all the other 30 that I won? And then I realized that this first Green Day bounce had low volume. And then I was looking at the 1 minute chart and I was like, why is the 1 minute chart, 25,000 share here? And then why is the 1 minute chart on the other side, 400,000 on the 1 minute? So then I was like, oh, that's a low volume first Green Day bounce. that did not work. So you're like you're constantly coming back to your playbook and you're adjusting that small little detail nobody really sees. You're doing the same thing, but it's not the same setup.
You'll be less emotionally volatile, not because you don't care, but because you've trained your nervous system to stop treating every position like it's life or death. So you'll size positions better, you'll respect volatility, you might even trade much less. And boredom can become a signal instead of something that forces you to act.
Yeah, this is good. Boredom can become a signal instead of something. Yeah, that's
No
true.
position can be a position.
Yeah, this is something I developed lately. This is something I'm working on right now. Like no position is a position. Like, I wake up and I show up in the market every day, and it's very hard for me to not trade because for me and for most of you, showing up and making that trade, it, releases some dopamine. Either if it's negative dopamine or positive dopamine, I still have to trade a trade. And I'm working on taking no trades. Like for example, on Tuesday there was nothing. So Tuesday I did nothing. So therefore I did not I do nothing. I have to work on my skills to it's better to do nothing than have a red day. That's something I need to drill in my head. Nothing day is better than a red day. So if I don't see it, you just don't do anything. So that's something I am working on. So he's stating facts here.
The best traders, they are not the ones with the most action, rather, they have the best patience and processes.
That's right. The best traders, look what he said right here. The best traders are not the people with action. The best traders are the people that have the most patience and have the what did he say? Because I had need to review that. That's actually really good.
Processes. This is when trading will actually start giving back. Not immediately, not magically, but steadily. So you'll size positions better, you'll respect volatility, you might even trade much less. And boredom can become a signal instead of something that forces you to act. No position can be a position.
There you go. No position can be a position.
The best traders, they are not the ones with the most action, rather, they have the best patience and processes.
There you go. There you go. You hear that? You hear that right there? The best traders have the best process and patience. You need a process for trading small cap stocks, and you need to be patient with small cap stocks. If you get yourself stuck in a loophole of greed, euphoria, undisciplined trading, blame, trading C setups with A size, you're gonna get into if you have no system, you'll eventually fail. If you have no plan, you need to have a back-tested plan. I have a back-tested plan.
This is when trading will actually start giving back. Not immediately, not magically, but steadily. That clarity you were looking for starts to appear, as well as a belief and self trust with a little bit of discipline. And in the end, once you truly earn that, that freedom comes, the one you seek, the real freedom. That comes from the backside of this journey through the dark side, through mastery of the craft. So, if you are feeling it right now, come the end of 2025, like you don't stand a chance and things haven't been working out for you, try and reframe what's happening. It's not the end of the story. This is the part where most people quit, where the tourists are told to kick rocks and to get back on LinkedIn. Look, it's brutal because it's built to be, but therein lies the opportunity. So here's the ultimate.
Yeah, trading is brutal. You make the trade. Trading makes you feel like shit most of the time. Every day you're showing up and you press a button, and most of the time it's going to be wrong. Most of the time it's gonna be wrong. It's ridiculous, and if you're wrong every time you push that button, it kind of erodes your self confidence some kind of hard kind of way, especially if you're a beginner. So that's why I have a system. That's why I have a system. You once you go outside the playbook, you're dead. You're dead, especially if you're emotional. Oh my god. And you're especially if you're sizing up. I try to protect myself again from myself because I know myself. I oversize I oversize when I'm losing. I know that very well, and I trade very shitty when I'm tired, and I have built up fatigue. I know that one, and I I do that, and I do that. It's very hard for me to stop doing that. That's something I'm working on. I've been working on that for like ever, but I win really big. The drawback of this strategy that I win really big when everything's working, and I try to lose minimally when it's not working. But that's and no position is a position. You need to accept that.
Question I'll leave with you. Which version are you going to walk out that other side with? You might be closer than you think. Kind of like that meme with the dude who's mining for diamonds and he's almost there. And yeah, it might take your peace, your health, your relationships, your identity.
There you go. There you go. There you go. He said it. Peace, identity, your health. I mean, all these things. When you're first starting out, I actually had to give up on a lot of relationships, a lot of health, and a lot of peace. Like right now, I'm working on establishing my health a little better and my peace. My peace. I'm still working on establishing it.
Sure. But if done the right way, building and refining your process over time, building yourself up, trading can give you the freedom, the purpose, the satisfaction of mastering something that people can't even begin to understand. You'll be equipped to play in the hardest game on earth while still staying within yourself. So that's your choice. Good luck. By the way, please like and subscribe. And if you want
Yeah, so this is a great video. I actually went to his channel, and this is the most viewed video on his channel. Tell you the truth, I don't know who he is. I haven't. I just watched this
what's up,
video.
guys? I'm
I just watched this video, Jaymes something. I don't know. I don't think he trades small cap stocks. What I looked at, Jaymes Rosenthal. I don't know. He's just some random dude that is just stating facts. So I just looked at his top video, 47,000. He came in my feed as trading will take everything from you. And I started listening, and he's actually right. Maybe you should go through, all some of his videos here. I've been doing this for longer than him, and I'm listening to his, and I'm just cracking up laughing how accurate he is. So I had to share like my reaction to it. Trading will take everything from you. If you're not disciplined, it will take not only your money, but it's a somewhat is a sort of addiction um, and um, and if you're not disciplined, if you don't treat it as a seriously as a profession, like my course was on sale a couple of days ago, and most of you, some of you did not buy it, and I promise you that you still haven't lost enough to appreciate what's in it. My course is 15 hours long, and it has 10 solid setups you can use for small cap stocks. And I think it was at one point my 15-hour course with solid data. It was 15. It was like it was solid data. Like I have not like right here. I finished this part right here. Like I just finished the short the daily trend line. So it's finished. It comes out to be around it's 15 hours right now. 15 hours the course, and it has so many examples you don't even it has tons of examples like a system. So if you think that the price that I was asking for the course it's a lot, you're gonna go through a very struggling, long process of losing. I lost way more than how much this course was to learn what's in it. And you think I'm just trying to sell your course? No, I'm trying to save you from losing your house. You can lose your house and your life to this. Not the course means shit. My course is a insurance payment for a car for 6 months. That's how much it is. It's eating for 3 months. I went to Costco and I spent 500 on like 2 months of or a month of groceries. My course was even underneath 1,000 for a limited time there. And right now we're back to retail prices. I don't have another time to they'll probably I don't think it's going to be on sale anytime soon, but for those people that sign up, I will be looking for a review and to read about the course. Friday has been a pretty green day. Small caps are moving, and they're going to continue to be moving next week as we get closer to Christmas. They're going to be moving closer to Christmas and into the New Year's. So we're going to have a pretty strong, next 2 weeks, and the first 2 weeks of January is historically has been pretty strong. But if you're still watching this video until this time, right now I'm doing a 50% off your first month only if you click this link underneath. It's on advertised rate. I mean, for those people that are actually listening to what I have to say and are actually interested. But what we're looking for is a really hot market for the next 2 weeks and the beginning of January, and probably is going to be throughout January. Like the hot market cycle lasts around a month and a half or a month, and then it resets every 2.5 months. So the hot market cycle, it's about 4 times a year. So we were in a pretty cold market, and right now we're in the beginning stages of the hot market. So please use the link below if you want to save 50% of your first month, because other than that, you'll be at retail price if you want to get in on trading and get in on the course to know exactly what you're doing. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As soon as I see more videos like this, I'm gonna make a nice live stream about it, and we're just gonna go from there. If you found these useful, leave a comment, leave a like, share it with your friends. This is rock solid knowledge that I listened to this guy for 13 minutes, and I was like, this guy is like really reminding me of myself, how many things the market can take from you and give to you. And I was very pleasantly surprised of what he had to say, and I had to share this great video. Maybe I'll find more, but if you leave likes and comments, I will find more videos like this and post it and share it with you. Other than that, I'll see you all in my next video, and peace out.